Ladies and gentlemen, it's all over. It is all over. The final day. It took us all the way till tiebreaks, but today the winner of the FIDE World Cup 2025 was decided. Yesterday we know Andrei Sapenko secured candidates qualification, so this was all about the big prize. Both of these players, Javokhir, Sindarov, and Wahi, have qualified for the candidates, so now it was just a matter of winning the whole thing. Sindarov had the white pieces. This is the first of their two tiebreak games, or potentially only two tiebreak games. D4 he played. We had knight to f6, and what we got was a queen's gambit declined and a Rogozin defense. This has been a popular line for a while now. It's really well relied upon. You get h6, the bishop captures, and you play e3. Short castles, rook to c1, knight to d7, queen to b3. And now the bishop has got really two choices. Going back to e7 is normally what you would do, but in this case doesn't quite work. You can also play c5 or a5, but where he keeps it simple, he just takes the bishop, queen takes, and now c6, and everything is very solid from black's perspective. We get a4, rook e8, and now a5. What you do is you are suppressing black's play on the queen side. We get e5, which is black's main pawn break in the center, c5 occasionally, but e5 is the big one. We get a couple of captures, and now we get c takes d5, which, yes, does 100% allow this capture. Does 100% allow this, where you would have to play like g takes f3, and Sindarov would have to play with this damage structure. But queen takes c3, rook takes c3, and probably pawn c takes d5, it's not actually that good for black. Like, you might just get the bishop out to somewhere like d3 and play king e2, and then you're actually fine, and you've opened up the g file for a potential attack. So while it's possible and playable, we just stick with c takes d5 and a capture in the center, and the queen's coming off the board. And now king to d2. No danger, you can come forward. We get d4, e takes d4, and now rook takes a5. We get rook to c5, and this capture, the bishop comes out, we threaten everything, so that has to be protected. The rook comes forward, b4, and now a5. And now you've got choices to make. I say that. The only choice is to take this, because doing anything else will lose this. So you have to take, and you lose here. Rook to c1. Now you are forced to take the rook, or you have to go back here. But that is a very dangerous game, because now king to c3, and your king is too far away. So you're forced to take this. Just by the way, oh, that skips right to the end, which is not good. You're forced to take the rook, because if you take this, you hang mate in 1. Now, as you saw, this game ends in a draw, but that actually is not what should have happened, because we get to this position. We get f6, we get h4, and here Wei under low time plays g5, and is completely lost. If Sindarov here had played bishop to e4, he would have won the game. No ifs, ands, or buts. Because this bishop has a very tough choice. If you take here, no, not take with the pawn. Sorry, that was a different line. King takes, you're just in. King to c5, and now king f5. King b5, and here you've got to be very patient. You've got to play h5. Because the idea is once you take here, I'm going here. And you can push, and you probably will even queen first. But it won't be fast enough. Actually, we're going to queen at the same time. And I will actually probably win your queen. So, it's lost by force. He plays h5. And that kind of was the final chance that he got. As the players then played out, a couple of clutch moves from Wei as he survives the pressure, the bishops get traded, and we just get into a king endgame, and there's not much we can do, and the players made a draw a couple moves later. So Sindarov missing a huge chance. The question will be, did he take it at the next opportunity, or did Wei, with that gift of not losing. What did that inspire him now is he's got the white pieces. He's got the white pieces. We have e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and it was an Italian game with the 2 knights defense, bishop e7, and it was a calm Italian, a bit of a different line with knight to c3, a4, bishop comes out, and we get this early trade, which always surprises me. It's not normally what happens. Firstly, it's interesting to see the bishop go out this way. Normally, it will come in to d6 to e6 and look to trade for this bishop. So already interesting. We get knight to d4, queen drops back, and now c6. Bishop a2, just getting out the way. Knight drops back to e6, rook to e1, queen to c7, bishop to e3, b6. So, black is, I wouldn't say playing provocatively, but they're not quite sure what plan they want to commit to. We get queen f3 again, rook a d8, and now h4. Sindarov has leveled the position quite comfortably. He's still up on time. Queen d7. He played very fast. He was always up on time, way under serious time pressure. Queen h3, rook fe8. Both players now spending some time. We get this trade, and now white giving up their 2 bishops advantage, but thinking that maybe this is a weakness, and now we can exploit this odd-looking structure. We can find something to exploit. But knight e2, d5, and knight g3, rook f8, h5, h6, there's not much coming. I mean, you can double the rooks, but nothing ever opens up, and now d4 slams the door shut. So you have to go back. Now you've got to protect this after you willingly opened the file for black. This pawn looks great, but you can't really maneuver your pieces. Your queen is very offside. It is putting pressure on this, which black always has to defend. But black's going to start getting play here. They get c5 in. You can play b3, but now I've got a6. And knight f1, fine, queen e8. Rook a1, rook e7. Knight g3, best move. Queen c8. Knight f1, there's not much you can do. That's the problem. White's kind of frozen. Knight h2, now c4. Look at this. Black, and namely Sindarov, just creates all of this play, all of this chaos here, and your pieces are so poorly placed along the king side that you can't defend. This bishop is, patrolling both sides of the board. I know it's kind of blockaded by this pawn. This knight is the only one that's poorly placed, but it is still putting pressure on stuff and not allowing you to come forward. And these rooks are going to just have access to all the open files. The only weakness black has is that, and it's well protected. We get takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, and now you've got choices to make, and knight g4 is the wrong one because of c3. You can take with check, and you can bring the bishop back to e1, but your rook is stuck, and it is going to take you several moves to try and get out of trouble, and Sindarov has the initiative. He plays rook ff7, we get f3, rook a7, we have to come out, you cannot afford to trade, rook to d1, but now I have rook a2. And the base of your pawn chain is a problem. Bishop comes out to h4, rook b7, queen g4. Queen e8, king h2, queen f7, g3, rook b2, rook c1, the only move to defend this. And Wei is just under pressure. Both players now, Sindarov after king to h7 has 90 seconds, so a minute and 30 seconds. Wei has 40 seconds, 38 seconds. Now they do get a bit of bonus time. I believe it was 15 plus 10, so they're getting 10 seconds. That is not a lot. And you are playing for the World Cup. King g2, rook b8, rook f1. White's only hope is this, f4. Rook b7, f4 comes. E takes f4, the only move for black. And now you've got to be very precise. e5 first. Most of us would take back like this. Not a good move. Not a good move because now rook b2. And how do you defend that? Most of us would play rook f2. And now rook a1. And we're going to infiltrate. And it's just going to cause too many problems for your position. So e5 is the best move. Force the bishop off and now take. Hit the queen. Queen drops back. Still defending that weakness on e6. Rook ef2. Rook a1. Queen f3. Alekhine's gun on this file, trying to create counterplay. Rook b1 though. And now you've got to be so precise because you know these rooks are coming in. And they're going to give you checks. And your king may have to go for a jog. And may not be able to jog very far. The only move here is queen e4 check. And Wei Yi would be better. He plays it. Queen e4 check. King g8. Now, again, the only move, queen g6. Queen g6, offering this queen trade. And queen takes g6, pawn takes g6, white is probably fine. This bishop protecting f8 is important, otherwise that would be mate. And now rook b8 probably is the best move, getting back and offering a trade. But instead of that, Wei Yi goes for it all and plays g4. Gives away all of his advantage, and Sindarov is better. Rook h1, setting up nasty counterattacks and threats on this bishop, and mating threats, at the very least. King g3 protects, but rook ae1 hits the queen. Rook e2 takes, and bishop to e7. Bishop takes e7, queen takes e7. Now you must be precise. You must play king g2 to threaten the rook and not allow the queen to infiltrate to h4. But Wei Yi saw a free pawn and he took it. Rook takes d4. He thought it was free. He underestimated queen h4 check. Queen g2. Rook e1, which wasn't the perfect move, but it was good enough. Queen g2, and now queen g5 check. King g3, queen e3 check, and Wei Yi resigned. And Javokhir Sindarov, after weeks of play, is the winner of the FIDE World Cup 2025. And now we have to ask, in 2026, will he be challenging Gukesh for the World Championship? He probably goes in as the favorite of the three that have qualified from the World Cup simply because he's won it. He's played fantastically throughout the tournament. Allow me to list off his opponents. Nikita Petrov, Nicholas Theodoro, Yu Yang Gi, Frederick Svane, Jose Martinez, Nordbek Yakuboyev, and Wei Yi. He played 24 games of chess after getting a bye in round 1, gains 16.4 rating points, and performed at 2800. Absolutely incredible stuff from Javokhir Sindarov.